Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay, the #1 source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some PRO snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. We had a great show for you today. As always, though, before we jump into things, we have to thank our sister podcast, Blevins is Saucy, over at Runeterra Radio. If you want more awesome Runeterra content, make sure you go check them out. Those guys are freaking fantastic. They're hilarious. They're entertaining. They're a great time. Also, check out their Patreon and their Discord. They have a fantastic community. I'm in there all the time. I'm working quite often. They have great freaking chats. Really awesome people. Go check out all their stuff. Runeterra Radio. With that said, let's jump into today's podcast. We're going to go a little bit over the meta. We have our $1,000 tournament starting tomorrow. If you're not registered for that, make sure you get your butts over to our Patreon and get in there to save us some headache from helping you get registered. I'm going to be playing a fight night in like an hour. I decided to bring the Matron Cythria deck because fun. And then also Easy Draven just to show Bay up. Either I'll win and be like, this is how it's done, son. Or I'll lose and I'll be like, it's Bay's fault.
Yeah. So I did play that deck, right? I played Ezreal Draven in the last fight night. And I like won every single game I played with my other deck, which was the Zero Relia, and lost a ton with Ezreal Draven. But not before stomping Jay Sensational with it, right? Like round one. So after the tournament, I'd lost because my opponents played very well. Don't want to take that away from them. But I did not draw very well with Ezreal Draven. And so after fight night, I tweeted out, if you ever see me trying to register Ezreal Draven for a tournament, please stop me. Because I think the deck's really bad. And Jay Sensational responded. He's like, he claps me in fight night with it and then tweets this.
The disrespect.
Yeah. I love
Poor
that guy.
Jason.
He's so funny.
Jason's great. So let's talk a little bit about speaking of the meta and like decks to pick and stuff. Speaking of stomping people, I stomped you pretty quickly when I was playing. We played a few matches quickly. You were playing Thresh Nasus, and I was playing the Cythria combo deck. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of going to be my decider. Like, how does this matchup go? And it seemed like it was pretty good.
Yeah, not for me. It was not very good for me.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, though. We only played like 3 games, and they were close.
They were very close. I think you top decked Cythria like 2 times on the turn, on your matron turn.
Yeah. To be fair, the game was still looking like decent, but
yeah. And then that
way. But also,
door.
I think like 2 of the games, had you had Atrocity, I think you could have won.
Yeah.
So, long story short, I then went onto the ladder and I crushed one more Thresh Nasus deck. It was okay, register. Then the next day, I lost like 4 or 5 in a row. It was like, oh.
Yeah. I tried to play the deck on ladder, and I don't know. It felt like I was trying to like cheese out my opponents, which is entirely true. But like sometimes you do the cheesy thing and you'd win, and then like other times you wouldn't, and you just get blasted. Yep. And I don't know. That doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be, the deck is also supposed to just roll Aesol decks. It's supposed to be like, you never lose the Aesol. So, Sharon, the Vampire Slayer, and I were streaming last night, and I was teaching her how to play Dragons. And we got paired against this deck. And I was like, oh, we can't, it's unwinnable. We can't win this. And Pushby was in the chat. He was like, I've never lost to this ever. And I'm like, it's like impossible to win. And we just went like, guy, kill them. And they just did nothing and died.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that happened to me as well. Pushby was also in my chat and said, I've never lost this matchup. And I'm like, you're trolling, Pushby. You don't know what you're talking about. And then like on turn 4, they just conceded. And he was like, see?
The push me magic.
Okay, I need
Get
you
that
in my
special
chat more
Yoshi
often,
dust.
man. Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'm going to be playing that in an hour.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Good
thanks,
luck,
I'll need
buddy.
it. And then the other deck, Ezreal
Ugh.
Draven, which I will fully concede feels like it's probably 45-55 into just everything.
Oh yeah,
But,
you're just like a slight dog to everything.
but you've always got a chance.
You've always
got a
got
shot.
45% of a chance. That is
Yeah.
correct. Yep.
So you're
That's very
never,
good.
you know, at least you're
That's
never
very
just
good.
like blowouts.
Yeah. It's like Jund.
It's like
Magic,
it's like
yeah.
Jund. Here's the thing, though. Like if your opponents, so it's like it goes from like 45-55 to like, you know, maybe like 60-40. Like there's like this range there, depending kind of like on how good your opponent is. Because
Sure.
the more mistakes they make, the more you're able to make up a lot of room and like punish them for them, which you can't say about all decks. But I'm playing a fight night against like 7 other killers. And
Yeah,
so
like,
I'm just
the
like
lineup's just stacked,
I just brought a spoon to a knife fight.
and you're just like, ha!
Like sometimes you get them in the eye.
I'm looking to outplay my opponents, who are all fantastic.
Very, very good players. Yeah. So you know what? It's gonna be interesting. You know, both decks though very capable of high rolling, just
Yes.
doing absurd things sometimes.
Yes.
So
Get those
Will be fun.
tri-beams in your openers, and you're looking real good.
yeah, I will say though, I don't mind Easy Draven on the ladder. I like Easy Draven on the ladder
I
right now.
also like to play it on the ladder. I think it's fun. Every now and then,
Yeah.
my opponent just does more powerful things, and I go, "This feels bad," but like, the deck's fun. I really enjoy it.
And sometimes you do very powerful things.
And sometimes
you're like,
you can do
haha, how's
powerful
Tri-Beam
things. Yeah,
for
so,
7 taste?
If you have Tri-Beam and Draven in your opening hand, I think most games are unlosable. Like straight up.
They're pretty damn good.
It's so like, okay, that's obviously an exaggeration, right? But
you win a lot.
you
I
win
get
a
you.
lot. Like,
You win a lot
it's
of
so
those
powerful. Draven on 3 into like Tri-Beam on 7 that does like 8 damage is just insane. It's
Yeah.
so hard to come back from that.
Let's talk a little bit about Tri-Beam, because this will be
Do that.
good for me, as well as our listeners. What are the numbers that you want to be Tri-Beaming, what are the numbers you do not want to be Tri-Beaming, and why?
Okay, so 1 and 2, you only cast to pop spell shields, or if you like absolutely have to, right?
Yeah.
3 is a gamble. You're rolling the
gamble.
dice. You can get good stuff, or you can get Solitary Monk on your full board. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. But I do end up using it for 3.
For anyone that doesn't know what Solitary Monk is, I found out the hard way when I was like, haha, game's over, sucker! I have like 5 units, they have like 2, and I just slam it down for 3 mana, and then all of a sudden, I didn't have a board anymore. Why is that, Bay?
Well, Solitary Monk is, I think it's a 3/3 now, right? 3/3 elusive, that when it comes into play, it bounces all your other units to your hand. And when you have a full board, it feels quite bad. So that has happened to pretty much everyone, I think, that's played a lot of Ezreal Draven. It used to happen a lot more when the card pool was smaller.
Yeah.
It's less likely now, but still sucks. Skip 4 entirely. 4 sucks. 4 has so many like play effect cards that unless you hit like Ancient Croc, you're just, or like Grizzled Ranger, you're just not going to hit anything good. So I try to skip 4. 5 and 6 are pretty strong. That's where like you really are like, okay.
I like
deal.
5. 5's
Five's
always
good.
really good. I feel like it's always
6
just like bodies.
Yeah, it's just dudes with good stat lines. 6 is fine.
It's okay.
It's fine. I would rather cast it for 6 than 5, right? But like not by much. I'm not gonna like go out of my way to get up to 6. 7. I like 7. I think 7's all right. It's fine.
Yeah, sounds okay. Sounds a little interesting. There's a lot of there's a big some gap there between the top ones and the
Huge
bottom ones.
range of things. You can get
Yeah.
really good or really bad. 8 starts to narrow, but it's like never like damn unless you hit like Dreadway.
Yeah.
But 9, I like 9 because 9 gives you
Ledros?
Bright Steel Protector or Ledros,
Bright Steel Protector.
which is good. The worst hits are like Mina, which isn't even that bad, and the dragon that pumps all your other dragons.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst one. And then just don't cast it for 10. Yeah, you can hit New Cythria, but I think it's coded into the game that you're always going to hit Plaza Guardian no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And you cast it on 10?
There's a bunch of stuff that costs 10, but it's like supposed to get cheaper, so it's not supposed to cost 10. Yeah.
You don't want that. So yeah, 9 is like If you can get it up to 9, it feels very good. Yeah, Tribeam is a cool card. I just like it. It's just fun. It's like it's an acceptable amount of RNG.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fun card. Ezreal Draven, I wish the deck was just a little better. Because I do like to play it.
It's not bad. I don't think that's bad.
No, not bad at all. Ian O'Guerre has been championing this deck forever. I think since he was born, he's been playing Ezreal Draven.
True.
And it's good. It's always like good. It's never great, but it's always good. But I cannot stand going into like TLC or Thresh Nasus. Now Thresh Nasus, the matchup's not as bad now that they're not running like Rite of Negation.
Man, I've been struggling hard because Thresh Nasus was my bread and butter. That's what I've been grinding the ladder with, and I feel like I haven't beat Ezreal Draven in forever. Yeah. Like they just always have answers to whatever I'm doing.
Yep.
I try to play around
Culling
stuff.
Strikes, if you did not know, most of us Masters players are now running 3 copies of Culling Strikes and Ezreal Draven to deal with Thresh and Azir, and it's insane. It's so good.
Yeah.
You play Thresh on 5 and they just go bink, and you're like, right? And then they have like all their mana left to do whatever else they want.
Yeah.
It's so swingy.
I even kept like glimpses for all of them, and rolled them until had spell mana ready and was just like, didn't matter. It's still they just grinded me out.
Just outguard you. Especially because the Rite of Negations are down because we did a lot of testing in that matchup. And usually what would happen is you'd run your things against each other, everything would die, and then I'd play a Nasus and I'd kill you. Because I would have Nasus, Rite of Negation, and Atrocity, right? Or I'd play a Thresh and maybe you can't answer it. But now what happens is we play a bunch of things, and they end up with more resources because now they can kill Thresh really easily. You no longer have Rite of Negation, so when you play Nasus, it can just die. And it
does just die,
switch over to Merciless Hunter is very good in a lot of matchups. Not this one, in my opinion. A 4-3 for 3 is so easily killable in that deck. Like, Ezreal Draven, everything blocks it, right? Like, all your 3-mana things trade with it. You got Sump Treasure, you got Draven, you got all your spells or whatever. Ballistic Bot gets up there. And then, like, the Vulnerable's not that good. Whereas, like, Blighted Caretaker makes some swingy turns in that matchup. Because you could, like, Blighted or Curse Keeper, drag their blockers, and crack them for a bunch. And you kind of, like, lose that. So I think the matchup went from being, like, really, really good for Thresh Nasus to like way less good.
I like the meta when Easy Draven is playable in it.
I totally agree. Yeah,
I feel like that almost means it's like a healthy meta.
It's like Jund. It's exactly like Jund. If Jund is like playable, that means the meta is probably in a good spot.
Yeah, when TF Fizz was crushing, like Easy Draven was like
Jund.
done.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry for everyone who watches this podcast and does not play Magic and just doesn't get all the references. I'm so sorry.
I'm not. Whatever. Use Google.
Screw those guys, right? Google Jund. Speaking of Magic, I know it's a bit off topic. We did talk about this a lot in the Runeterra show, but quick little thingamajiggy. The Magic Pro League is no longer.
Yeah. Let's talk about it because I like to talk about it also going into like what we like to see happen in Runeterra.
This is the opposite of what we want to see in Runeterra.
Ships in the night.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I'll let you go into it. You probably know more about the specifics. The Magic the Gathering Pro dream is dead. It's gone. It's no longer there.
Yeah. And I see this from like a couple different standpoints because like so if anyone that doesn't know, Bay and I both try to like chase this dream. I was even like qualified for a bunch of stuff for a while after I won, like when COVID hit and they started Grand Prix, like their major tournaments, major open tournaments. I like binked one. And it qualified me for like a couple of pro events,
I played in a few pro events too.
Some of them then got canceled, which is like insane. Mm-hmm. It's like basically like Runeterra Worlds has like a $200,000 prize pool right now, and imagine you top 4'd a seasonals, which would then qualify you for Worlds, and then they were like, yeah, guess what? No,
and then they just canceled it.
Worlds.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Or they took the prize pool and lowered it to $20,000 instead.
They also did that.
That sucked. Yeah. So a lot of bad things happened, and then
happened. I won prize money and stuff, but I was never part of the pro league, which for a while now, if you did well enough, if you were the top like 100-ish best players, you would get like money for like showing up, for being part of this league, to basically help you sustain being a professional
salaried almost
player. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's now gone.
Yes.
So the Pro Tours themselves, the seasonals of Magic, if you will, the large tournaments do still exist. You can still win money that way, but the extra cushion of this extra sort of money to try and make it your profession is now gone, which doesn't affect most people.
No.
If I was trying to make it on the Pro Tour and stuff, like, I never even really thought about that part. I just wanted to win a Pro Tour, right? I just wanted to, we play for the prestige more than anything. Like, no one's getting rich, playing Magic.
Unless you were, not just, there's the full-time players, but, PV, but those are, super few and far between. The majority of people who make it as a Magic the Gathering player, or any game like this, are content creators on top of being players. They're streamers. They make YouTube videos. They write content, stuff like that. And you can still do that, but being a pro, making a living off playing is not really viable anymore.
Yeah, you basically have to do that, and everyone has to do that. And it's interesting when you compare it to a real esport like Counter-Strike
or League,
Valorant, League. The top players are not making content and streaming. They are learning to be better and practicing all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them come in and out of it. Some of the top streamers on Twitch, they'll be like, okay, I'm not, I retire, I'm going to go stream. Or they're like, I'm going back to being a pro, I'm not streaming. Yeah, and that's what it is to be a pro. That's not really a thing in Magic, even. You always had to be streaming or writing articles or making YouTube videos, or all three of them, even.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes me really sad is that, if this is going away, because I would love to see that for Runeterra, right? My dream is to see a pro league
be in the MPL
Runeterra.
for Runeterra.
Yeah.
Like that, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
And, if Riot looks around and sees that other people are, cutting that and not making it, though, different companies, different games, different everything, it doesn't give me a lot of hope that that's the route that they would sort of go down. Because at the end of the day, Magic the Gathering is making more money than it ever has.
Yes.
Without
they're
the pros.
Their quarterly earnings are up every quarter.
Yeah, so, and where was this? I can't remember. It was somewhere in Riot, but they were talking about how esports are not... Everyone, we talk about this too, how it's oh man, they're going to start a league, there's a bunch of prize money, and everyone's going to come running. That's, not totally true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's typically, it does work like that. There is some advertising there, and, I did start chasing the dream because I saw an ad on the Pro Tour. But that's not originally why I started playing. I started playing with, friends, right? And so what esports is in a competitive scene, it's something for your players that you already have to keep doing and keep going. Mm-hmm. And so, that's not a bad thing by any means, but it's not making you more money, which is exactly what you're seeing in Magic.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to bring in waves and waves of new people. But I will say, I don't play a ton of League, but every now and then I do. And every single time I watch League esports, I log into League of Legends afterwards. Because it, reignites that for me. Right? I watch it and I was like, that was sick. That's a sick team comp. That was a cool strategy. I love this Baron Steel or whatever. I gotta go play. And same thing with, watching the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour. I would watch it and I'd be like, this new deck looks tight. Let's get online and let's run it, right? And so it gets people, excited about the game, and it keeps the game fresh outside of just, new things coming out, right? And the people who want to be competitive have that avenue. I do think it's important to have things that players can aspire to, though.
I think so too.
To get your take on this, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I wouldn't play Magic if that wasn't a thing, and I didn't play Runeterra until neither of us played Runeterra until there was a pro scene.
Same thing, yep.
So, and most of the people that we test with and stuff are the same, right? Mm-hmm. This is why we're here. And if it went away, I would go away.
I'd probably leave. Yeah. I love Runeterra. I think it's a super fun game, but I cannot keep playing. I cannot play a game every day that there isn't something for me to shoot towards, right?
Yeah.
There's just it feels like wasting my time.
Yeah.
I understand it's just a video game, right? I'm just here playing a game, right? Having a good time, but if I'm not working towards something, I feel like I'm wasting my time and I can't invest that time into the game. I'd rather go play anything else. I'd rather go play League, even though I'm really bad and will never ever make it pro at League, right?
It's the joy of competition, right? We enjoy competing.
Yep, I want to compete at the highest level. That's where it's at. Like if you haven't competed at like a super high level before in anything, then I highly recommend you find something and do it. Because like going to the Pro Tour or the Mythic Invitational for like Magic the Gathering was some of the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. And that has less to do with the Magic the Gathering part, right? And more to do with like the competing. You show up and here's 200 people, and every single person worked their absolute hardest to like be the best today. And that's just an incredible environment. Same thing when I was playing when I was playing sports in like high school, like super competitively. I used to travel for lacrosse. And it was so fun playing against these other teams, and both teams are just filled with these kids who just want to be the best, right? Like we're out here and we're practicing every day, and we go to camps and like off-season stuff, and then you come together to find out like which team's really the best, and that there's just like something to be said for how fun that is. And lacking that in a game, I wouldn't want to play it.
Yeah, and so I'm one of the things that makes Runeterra awesome is it's made by Riot, who obviously knows what they're doing when it comes to esports. One of the things that was a real big problem with Magic was like the coverage. They never really captured the excitement and made it a really great viewing experience. Whereas like there's Star City Games, which is
Star City Games did a very good job. Yeah,
and they run their own series, and the coverage was amazing.
Super good.
The guys that did casting for them or do, I guess.
I don't know if they still do, probably, but
yeah, their team was just phenomenal, super entertaining, and I feel like that's like a big part of what was sort of missing.
I would watch Star City Games events over the Pro Tour.
Same. Most people.
Yeah, they were just more fun. They're more fun to watch. And like, Star City Games approached Magic the Gathering like an esport.
Yeah.
Wizards did not. So Star City Games had like a league where each tournament, like they had weekly tournaments, and you earn points based on how you finish, and then that would qualify you for like their bigger events, their invitationals, where like a lot of money was on the line. And that made every week exciting to watch no matter what, right? You get to cheer on your favorites. The casting duo, like you said, were like fantastic. Patrick Sullivan and Cedric Phillips were like my favorite casters in anything. Magic, right? So fucking good. Maybe anything. Like I do like a lot of the league casters though. Shout out to my boy Freak. But like, yeah, they were fantastic. I love listening to them. And then you'd watch some of the actual Wizards broadcasts, and you're just like,
yeah.
Right. So, I hope we see Riot move in more of the direction of Star City Games. I have, like, we say this over and over and over again. I have very high hopes. I'm very optimistic. Every decision they've made so far, I've been a fan of, or I've come around to it. Right. I love the way they approach balance. I'm loving the way they're doing cosmetics in the game. Also, skins are coming out pretty soon.
Skins are coming.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, I also love that, like, big, kind of off topic, but I love that the game's free to play. That's huge. And then that you pay in cosmetics. Like, there's so many people like me who enjoy the game so much that they're willing to pay. Like, I'll buy cosmetics even if I don't incredibly want them, just because I love the game. And I want to, like, support it, right? I'm totally okay throwing down $20 here and there. And eventually that, like, really adds up, especially with, like, League of Legends. I don't even want to know how much money I've spent on League of Legends skins. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. If it's less than $700, I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
and I've only been playing for a couple years.
I get it. The Valorant skins are so sick. Like if I was playing Valorant right now instead of Runeterra, I would own everything.
Yeah,
I would own everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that business model. Where it's like, we're going to make it good enough that you're going to want to spend money anyways, even though the game's free. And so far, it's been really working for them. And I think they do such a good job with that. Whereas, like, Magic, I mean, this is turning into the whining about Magic podcast episode. so deal with it. but Wizards, it feels like they would just keep releasing these products that were like surface level, just about getting more money right then and there. Like, long-term health be damned, we're here to make a quick buck. And that's just what it just felt like that every single time. And eventually you just like go, okay, like, guess you don't really care about this.
It's wild to me that like about a year ago, I think I won my Grand Prix April of 2020, I want to say.
So, wow, like right over a year ago.
Like 1 year ago, I won, qualified for a bunch of stuff. Like the next couple months was like, boom, Magic is my life now. I'm going to try and make a run at this. Start a fucking podcast with Seth Manfield. Start streaming. Start making YouTube videos. Start writing for Channel Fireball. Like dreams. Playing the top events. Like this, I love it. I love all of it. To literally like, I don't know, 8 months later being like, I'm done with Magic for forever.
Forever, yeah. Yeah.
Because like it's just so terrible. Like
yep.
I can't, like, how hard do you have to like just murder it?
Which sucks because like the game Magic the Gathering is fantastic.
Such a good game.
It's such a good game. But there's so many problems on like the non-game aspect of it that just like clearly they are moving it in a different direction.
Yeah, so we get it. Magic sucks.
Magic sucks.
Sads. But you know what? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe things will get better post-COVID and they'll learn some stuff.
And,
whatever.
But even if it is, I'm not gonna like jump ship to Magic.
No.
Like we're not saying, oh man, we play Runeterra only because like Magic's not as good as we want it to be.
No, Runeterra's amazing.
I love Runeterra, and I would play even if I enjoyed Magic the Gathering more, I would play Runeterra because I love the way Riot handles it. Like, yeah. I just have so much like more faith in them. I feel like they care, right? If I tweet out at a Rioter and I'm like, hey guys, have you like looked at this? Maybe this. They'll like respond to me, and that's huge. That's such a big deal, and it like really means a lot to me as someone who like when I play a game, I put like hundreds of hours into the game, hundreds, sometimes thousands. I like to like dive into a game. So when I pick one, it's really important that the people who make the game are just as invested in it. And Riot, I think, nails that where WotC does not.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what we want to see from Riot, like what we're hoping to see.
Sure.
I guess post Worlds. I'm imagining that like post Worlds we'll see like the next year of a season, yes. Mm-hmm. Probably. So like ideally, what would that look like?
Go ahead. I want to hear you first.
Okay. So a few things. Let's talk about coverage first, because we were kind of talking about that important. A little bit.
Yeah.
They've done a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Coverage has been solid.
It's tough right now because all they have is seasonals.
Yeah.
And I think a very important part of coverage that we're missing is they can't focus on any of the people. They can't focus on any of the personalities, right? What I loved about like Star City Games coverage is that they go, okay, we're going to watch someone, right? Jeff Hoogland. And then, yeah, I know, it's the only name that popped into my head. And so then the casters would start talking about the previous things Jeff Hoogland has done, what he likes to play. They'd pop up with a little card with some fun facts about Jeff Hoogland, how old he is, where he lives, that kind of stuff. And
how annoying he is.
It builds, like, it makes you care about these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're no longer just the person who happens to be playing this deck. They're now, like, a person. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, so Casanova, I saw from last seasonals, interviewed as many of the top 32 as he could, got a lot of the, like, personal stories, thoughts on the games, all this kind of stuff to kind of weave that in with the coverage, which I loved. That they're,
fantastic job. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so good.
I'm not saying that they need to be doing these things. I'm saying they haven't had the chance to. Right?
Yeah. And so, like you're saying, though, like, seasonals is every 2 months. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see... So, ideally, what I like to see is like a pro league. Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
They're like basically what Star City Games was in Runeterra. So I mean, if there could be like every weekend, if there was an event that you could play in, but
every
don't have to play in.
non-seasonals weekend, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I have an idea. Why don't we call it Masters League? Anyone who's qualified in Masters can play in an Open every weekend that's non-seasonals, and you gain league points towards an invitational at the end. Something like that. Like exactly like Star City Games. I literally just stole the idea from them.
Yeah. So the way Star City Games worked was like it was something like every 2 to 3 months was a season, and then every 6 to 12 months was another big championship. And so you would qualify for a season. So ideally, what I like to see is that there's tournaments. I don't know if every weekend.
Yeah, maybe not every weekend. But
yeah. So the way that you could do it is you have them every weekend, but you don't have to but make it so that you don't have to play in every one.
Sure.
Like if you played in every other one or something, or one a month, you'd still be okay.
Or maybe something it plays out like a league. Like you don't play to get to first, you play to get 7 wins.
How does that kind of league?
Gauntlet. That's I don't love it either.
How does league work? How does how does the professional league?
Okay, so league works out like a professional sport. Every week, every team plays, and then Team Liquid's now 1-0, and then they're 2-0, and then they're 2-1, and then at the end of the season, you cut to playoffs and you run playoffs, and it works literally like. But that's because there's only 10 teams or whatever in LCS. We can't do that here. We can't cut to 10 players. Or the other direction, right? If there's going to be a league of some sort, the other direction is to have a pro league.
Yeah.
Where here's
that's
our
what I want.
30 because you want to be in it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Here's our 32 players or whatever. These are going to be the guys that go to these tournaments, and we have one every month or whatever like that. And that would also be good for people like me. It would also give people you could root for the same people. But looking at Magic the Gathering, who literally had that idea, the viewers for the Magic Pro League were never that good.
Oh yeah, well they screwed that up, all kinds of stuff. The first time they did recorded matches. So, the meta would have shifted by, a week or 2 weeks, so no one cared what was happening. Yeah. So first they did that, then they switched them to live, but nobody, the system was convoluted, and nobody knew what they were. I was like, oh, you have more happy points for the happy dance that happens later in this tournament. It's what? You would get a buy? They were playing for a buy later, and it was what? What are they even playing for? What is this?
No, I get that.
It was super hard to understand.
I never heard about the events until the day after. I didn't even know they were happening. And I was
Marketing was terrible.
I was in Magic, right? You couldn't be more entrenched in Magic content than I was. And I would wake up every morning and read their articles on Channel Fireball and Star City Games. Every day. That's what I do in the morning. And I had no idea that the Magic Pro League would be happening. So, do I think it could work? Yeah. But I'm not sure Riot will take that chance that it doesn't.
You know what I was thinking? I was say they don't.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
I was what if we did it?
Ooh. We need cross-shard play.
Yeah. Oh, should we talk about that?
Yeah, let's give a little quick once over on it. So go ahead.
So I mean, it's not that hard. Long story short, cross-shard play got gone. Bye-bye.
It's done.
Laters. Starting June 4th or something.
Yeah, right after the 2 big 1K tournaments, ours and Runeterra decks.
It's a roughie.
And it doesn't sound like it's coming back in its current iteration.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. We need that. That's super important.
If we can't have if we don't have more in-client tournaments, seasonals and worlds is not enough if you take away our ability to run community run tournaments.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. We need more. And without cross-shard, we can't run community tournaments. If we can, technically, right? But I mean, we hosted the biggest prize pool of any community tournament so far, I believe. No, there wasn't more.
There was a 2,000.
Damn it! Why didn't we do 2,100? We're fools. So one of the biggest, right? It was a pretty big deal at the time. And we had 140, 50 entrants?
160.
160. That's better than 40. 160 entrants. And that's with all the regions.
Yeah.
Granted, the entry was paid, but still, let's say we would have gotten 300, right? But if we have to only do one region, we're now getting 70, maybe, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
It just doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, hopefully it just comes back. Like their announcement left us like hanging a little bit because they didn't really. I get our assumption is that it's not coming back for a while.
That's what it read like.
That's what it read like, yeah. And we haven't heard anything to the contrary of that. Because the last time they announced this, they were like, it's only going to be temporary. This time they didn't say anything like that. But growing pains, right?
Growing pains. We are only a year into the game. It's funny to think that 5 months ago, seasonals didn't exist.
Yeah, it's wild.
Now here we are.
Like
right?
a month ago, Worlds wasn't a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're like, all right, what's next? Come on.
Yeah, what's next? Let's go. I feel bad. I almost feel bad for Riot. Like, we just gave you like $250,000 in Worlds.
You've been asking for Worlds this whole time.
EU number 2.
Yep, but we did talk about this. We're like, seasonals is a good start. Next, we want to see a Worlds, and then after that, we want to see some kind of Pro League. And we're like, once you have that, that's it. You don't need anything else. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe you do, right? But I think that's like the pillars. You have like an open tournament that anyone can get to qualify for the big leagues. That's seasonals. Then you have Worlds. This is the big leagues. And then you need some kind of recurring tournament.
More Worlds.
Or more Worlds. Some kind of recurring tournament for your highest level players. That's a Pro League. In my mind, that works out to a perfectly balanced structure. But another announcement thing. We have something coming with Dreamhack now.
Oh, that's right.
I heard.
Yeah. So we're not totally sure what is going on. It looks like there are going to be a series of Runeterra tournaments at Dreamhack events, which are starting back up. If you don't know what that
is like a big esports event / tournament thing. Very big. It's kind of a big deal.
I went to, right before COVID hit, I went to the last one they had in Anaheim, and there was a $100,000 Magic the Gathering tournament on Arena there, and it was cool. Like it was a like you had a laptop and you went and sat down at your table number just like you would in a paper tournament, except you had your laptop. You sat down and like boop, loaded up against your opponent that was sitting across from you. They're like, hey, good luck, load up and play. And it was so much fun.
It was super fun. Did you bring a laptop, or were they set up like for you?
No, you had to bring your laptop around.
Okay, you had to bring a laptop. I just play on my phone.
Yeah. And it was super fun. It was there was only like 90 of us or something, so it felt like a very prestigious sort of tournament. Yeah. Prize pool was pretty damn good. And then there's just a bunch of there's Fortnite stuff. There's Counter-Strike tournaments. Every game has tournaments. There's a massive LAN. There's parties going on. Super fun. So something's happened.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But honestly, what's I don't know how small the prize pool would have to be for me to be not interested. But
I'd still go.
Because everyone's gonna go. You're gonna go. I'm gonna go. Lots of the people that we know from the community are gonna go. It's gonna be just a good time.
They'd be like, first prize gets a pat on the back and a Moscow bill, and I'd be like, fuck yeah,
in.
I'll be there. Right? I want to be at the first LAN Runeterra event. Right?
That's why I went.
Was Twitch Rivals LAN? Was there a Twitch Rivals? I don't know. This was before our time in Runeterra. But I want to be there. I want to be there and say what's up to everybody and hang out with
Fuck yeah.
people. Sounds great.
Totally.
Sounds super fun.
The community is so good. That's God, I love Runeterra. I can't wait to go play Fight Night now. I'm all fucking jacked up.
You got Fight Night in 40 minutes.
Super soon. I got to check in right now.
Good luck, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Again, I'm going to freaking need it. But yeah, so exciting stuff. It looks like there's some sort of series of events happening. And that's why I went to the Arena one. Because it was the first Magic Arena LAN event ever. $100,000 prize pool. For free, basically. You just had to buy a ticket to the event.
To Dreamhack.
That had all this other cool shit.
I almost went to a Dreamhack event to play Dragon Ball FighterZ. I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, super fun. So that's exciting. It looks like we should know more information.
20th, I think it was.
What?
Next week? Was it the 20th?
Yeah, next weekend. So hopefully by the time we do the next podcast next Friday, we should have some more concrete
more
information.
It might be like one day early, but
yeah.
Hopefully some more information. Yeah, good luck in Fight Night, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
Anything else you want to cover really quick before you got to dart out?
Yeah, let's talk real quick. For anyone playing in the tournament this weekend, lineups and whatnot. What would you play? Why? Quick.
Okay, so two basic lineups that I've been like rolling around in my head. I'm not playing this weekend, obviously. I'll be hosting with you. But Thresh Nasus, Dragons, and Aurelia Azir is like probably my like all these cards, all these are good lineup. And I like that lineup. It's just strong. It's what we talked about before. I just want to bring decks that like beat other people because they're hella strong and have no glaring weaknesses, and that's kind of the lineup I came up with it. There is another lineup that I also really like. This is the Ban Aurelia Azir lineup, and this is TLC, Lee Sin, and then something else that loses to Aurelia Azir. You could also just play like Thresh Nasus, still super strong, or even the new Cythria deck, or as Draven. But yeah, those are the two lineups I like right now. I'm a fan of both of them.
Yeah, so I think because most people will be on the ban Aurelia Azir or be good into Aurelia Azir, I would just not play Aurelia Azir. So I would just go Thresh Nasus, like say Dragons, and then like TLC.
Yeah, Thresh Nasus Dragons TLC is still like super
which
strong.
I guess is a ban Aurelia Azir.
Yeah, kind of. You could afford not to.
Yeah, you could also, I think, throw Ez Draven in there for one of those three if for some reason that's like
if you want to not ban Aurelia Azir, you drop TLC and add like Ez Draven or something, because TLC has a very 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 hard time into Aurelia Azir, but the rest of the other two decks are like favored.
Yeah, interesting. So. I was watching Fight Night EU a little bit just for a couple minutes. Before we recorded, and I forget who it was that won, but they beat Aurelia Azir twice with TLC.
Wow.
And that matchup is supposed to be like just one of the worst.
People are telling me, hey, TLC is not as bad into Aurelia Azir as you think, and people keep telling me this, people that I trust, but I have yet to lose to it, I feel like.
Yeah, and I think one of the caveats here is even if the matchup is bad, you don't lose all the time. So like it looks like Aurelia Azir, one of the games drew like all three Aegises, which is like just too much. It's like your draw's kind of
Aegis? Deus?
Is that? Oh, Deus. Yeah,
Deus,
sorry.
the landmark. The
landmark. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you draw all three, it's like you're just like not doing
don't have any
stuff.
units. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do have units with all three, you're gonna win the game. But like, yeah.
So for anyone that like might get like too caught up on a bad matchup or whatever, like things are never like, even if you're like, you know, a 75-25 dog, like you're still winning 1 in 4 games. With the ban, with the pick 3 ban one, like you just ban things. Like for seasonals, I brought Thresh Nasus, Easy Draven, and TLC.
I thought you
and
brought,
like Easy Draven was supposed.
Okay,
yeah, and I'm pretty sure, yeah. And Ezreal Draven was supposed to be bad into like a bunch of things, and I just slaughtered people. I just like got them.
Yeah.
You know,
when
I punished them for any
matchup,
mistakes.
Usually it's like 60-40
and
at the most, and that's like not that bad, right? Not that bad at all.
No. There's a lot of play to, as we say this all the time, there's a lot of play to every single game. There's so much intricacies. So yeah, that's like the lineup that I would probably bring. And what I expect to see do well tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think TLC is going to rear back up. I think people are sleeping on it.
Yep, that is my pick as well. I think TLC is going to come back from the dead, like Undertaker rising out of the coffin in that meme.
Yeah, we just saw it. I mean, it just took down you Fight Night. I feel like I'm probably about to get bodied by it, probably by some people at Fight Night. And I think we're going to see it kicking some ass.
I think so too.
This weekend.
I totally agree.
All right, well, with that, I guess I should probably go get ready for Fight Night.
We will see you guys tomorrow.
So you guys can come hang out.
Be there. It'll be on my stream, Majin Bay, LOR. You'll find it.
That's right.
You can just click on Runeterra and you'll find it.
Yeah,
it'll be there.
it'll probably be the top one.
Probably one of the top ones. Yeah.
We gotta. You know what? We have to. What's the word I'm looking for? We have to channel some Cedric Phillips,
Sullivan vibes.
Patrick Sullivan.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to bring that next level.
Sure. That excitement.
Casting.
All right. Now there's some pros. That's tough.
Oh god, they're good.
That's a big ask.
Yeah.
But we can do our best. We'll do our best.
We gotta try. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Catch you next week. Bye.
Everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jay and Bay. New episodes come out every Friday. If you haven't done so already, be sure to join us on Discord, check out the Patreon team, and have a look at our deck database on Twitter at Master Runeterra. Links to all of these can be found in the show notes and description.